tune.
Sock Posse, what's going on, world? Welcome to another episode of the Team Sock Posse podcast. My name is Glad.
And I'm your boy, Rob. We are your favorite Team Sock Posse podcast where we interview great entrepreneurs from all sectors of industry. And remember, subscribe, share, comment below. I'll say it again. Subscribe, share, comment below. Glad, what's up?
We lit. We have a great topic. You know, it's Men's Health Month. So
Yes.
We're talking everything health.
Yes.
Right? One of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
And we have a great guy who's going to be here sharing the knowledge, giving us a lot of information.
Mhm.
Our brother, John Quest Michelle of Quest Nutrition Network. My
Yes,
brother,
yes,
what's
yes,
up?
yes.
What's
What's
up?
going on?
Pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
for
coming
having
out,
me.
man.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here.
No
it's
doubt.
a pleasure being a part of what you guys got going on and stuff.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
so it's an honor.
Thank you.
How was your week?
Week was good. Week was
Okay.
definitely good, and just looking forward to having a great conversation with you guys today
Yes,
For sure.
yes.
in regards to some very, very important health topics, man. So that's what it's about. That's what it's
what's up.
about.
That's
Nice.
what's up.
Yeah, man.
So let's get into it, man. How did
Absolutely.
how did you get down to this journey?
Well,
And introduce the people, let the people know, a little bit more about yourself.
Absolutely. I'll definitely get into my background and stuff like that as far as like how I got to this point. But one of the first things that I wanted to say is that with me, I put health first. That's one of the main things that we want to understand, because as believers, many of us will say, okay, we put God first. We put God first, and when it comes to health, I put like my health, like if God is one, then my health is 1.8. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to your health, all right, we're hustlers. We go out there, we go after, entrepreneurial goals and stuff like that. But if your health is not together, you're not going to be able to go after your goals. All right. We love our wives. We love our children. All of these things are important to us, but your health has to come first. And as a person who is a nutritionist, I have to prioritize my health. So that's, something that's very, very important. Then I could do everything else. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that have a lot of money and their health is, they don't have their health. So just to start off with that. But yeah, as far as my background and stuff like that, like I've got the academics. I've done the academic stuff. I've done the schooling. I have done, the work environment and stuff like that. I've worked in hospitals. I've worked in nursing homes and things like that. And all of these things in terms of the academic stuff, as well as working in facilities, working in hospitals, working with patients and working with clients, that has helped me to gain this understanding of mastering and understanding how to help people, what to communicate to them, what to tell them in order for them to make that step, because that's the most important thing. You could be telling them that something is important, is broccoli is healthy for you, but you got to be able to deliver that message in a way that makes that person move off of it. Like, okay, I'm gonna actually do this. So that's really what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? It's just getting the message out there, and that happens through my nutrition talks. That happens through one-on-one conversations with people in consultations, as well as the YouTube channel. So those are the ways that I primarily get that message out to the people.
Was there something that like sparked a plug with you at a young age that led you down this path? Was it a traumatic event that led you down the path of where you at now with becoming a nutrition? Like, what was it for you?
I mean, just really wanting to understand the body, the mechanics of the body, wanting to understand, okay, if I am ingesting water, or if I'm ingesting lots of meat, because in the Haitian community, we know that there's diabetes, there's heart disease, there's cancer.
Mhm.
I've seen it on both sides of my family. And I said to myself at a younger age, I said, all right, these individuals, my mother, high cholesterol, arthritis, all of these different things. If there was something that I could do that could change some of the health outcomes, what is it that I could do? And I found that information out by reading, by educating myself on health. So therefore, that's one of the first things that I did as I was reading this information. I slowly started to remove meat from my diet, and eventually became a vegetarian. So it wasn't something that I just said, tomorrow I'm not going to eat no more meat. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work that way.
It gradually happened.
I started off with pork. I said, I'm no longer going to have any pork. And there were reasons. There were specific reasons and things that I was reading that was helping me to understand, if I make these changes, then by the time I get to 40 and 50, I might not have high cholesterol. I might not have arthritis. I might not be at risk for cancer. I might not have all of these different health ailments. So I started off with the pork, then went to the beef. 6 months later, then it was chicken. Then 6 months later, it was milk and certain dairy products and stuff like that. So everything was a gradual thing. And then I stuck with just the fish and keeping fish at 1 to 2 times a week, just to ensure that, I was taking in that protein and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I kept it at that. And at 44 years old, by the grace of God, I don't have cancer. I've never had an incidence of cancer. I've never had any high cholesterol. My prostate is good. I got my prostate checked last year. All of these health ailments that I saw in my family, I don't have those things. Mm-hmm. So those were the things that propelled me, because I saw a lot growing up.
So much to talk about.
Yeah, definitely a lot to talk about. So you're a nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
So can you go a little deeper, because I want to get into that meat topic, because I'm gonna do that. Because there's been a lot of people now that are,
it's controversial.
Yeah, it's very controversial.
Yeah.
But can you go into a little bit of, as far as the detail of what a nutritionist?
Yeah, a nutritionist. Your primary goal as a nutritionist is to guide people.
Okay.
You want to guide people for them specifically. And I can't emphasize this enough, because you have your own background in terms of the things that you went through and some of the medical ailments that your mother and father had. And you have certain things that you've gone through, and your weight and your type and so on and so forth. So nutrition is, in certain respects, is not a one size fits all. And then some people have preferences.
Mm-hmm.
So you, as a nutritionist, you have to sit down with the individual, ask them a certain set of questions, and deal with them on their specific health topics. And that's how you make a tailor-made diet for that specific individual. So if Glad comes to me and he says, listen, I want to put on muscle, or I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to be getting married, in such and such time. So I want to make sure that, I'm looking real,
right in that tux.
Real good in that tux. Right. I'm looking real
bro,
lean.
You reading my mind, bro.
So it's that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then, you could tell me, you say, all right, Quest, I got diabetes in my family. I've got heart disease in my family. Mm-hmm. And I want to lower the risk. I want to deal with prevention. I don't have anything, but I want to make sure that I'm preventing. I'm taking the steps to prevent.
Gotcha.
So as a nutritionist, you have to go based on what the individual's goals are. You have to have a goal. You have to have a goal. And I have to help you to meet that goal.
Okay.
And that's predominantly what I do.
Question about blood type.
Yeah.
I had read somewhere that the type of blood type that you have, that's the way you have to eat certain foods. Is that right? Is that true? Or what do you know about that? What can you tell us about that?
There is a book that's called Eat Right for Your Blood Type.
I think that's what.
And it goes into, if you have this particular blood type, you can be a vegetarian, and if you don't have that, if you have another blood type, you have to eat meat.
Correct.
And there's another particular blood type that is more prone to certain diseases. I think that there is certain relevance to it, but it's something like it's like most things. You do have to do the research. You do have to do your due diligence. But ultimately, when it comes to your diet, you have to determine, okay, what is my history? What am I at risk for? And you have to determine based off of that, okay, I'm going to make sure that I've got diabetes in my family. I've got heart disease in my family. So I'm going to do the preventative steps, to make sure that I don't have those problems. So on an individual basis, like your workouts, your water intake, your nutrition, okay, your mindfulness stuff, mindfulness, meditation, all of these things have to encompass your health regimen. So I would emphasize those things even more. And listen, when it comes to meat, and as we just talked about a couple of minutes ago, it's something that can be a controversial thing. For some people, it's easier for them to let go of the meat. Some people, they're like, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, but I'll do all the other things. I wanted to read off some statistics, if I may.
Absolutely.
All right. Phife Dawg. We all know Phife Dawg, world-renowned hip-hop artist from the world-renowned Grammy Award-winning group Tribe Called Quest. He died at the age of 45 years old. John Singleton, he was the director of Boys in the Hood. He died at 51 years old of a stroke. Phife Dawg died of complications of type 1 diabetes. Nate Dogg, who was very well known on the West Coast and just hip hop in general, he died of a stroke at 41 years old. Kevin Samuels, he was the guy that was very controversial on YouTube just recently, and it was found out that he died of a heart attack at 57 years old. Heavy D died of a stroke at 44 years old. So I didn't mention anybody in the age of 70 or 80 or 60. These are guys in their 40s, 50s. All right. So as Black men, we really have to take charge of our health. I wanted to read some more statistics. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for men in the United States, killing 357,000 men in 2019. That's 1 in every 4 male deaths. In 2020, heart disease killed 690,000 people. 2020, same year that COVID became prevalent. But heart disease killed more people than COVID. I'm not minimizing the significance of COVID, but heart disease is a major killer in this country. One person dies every 36 seconds in the United States of heart disease. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for men of most racial and ethnic groups in the United States. Prostate cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in American men, behind only lung cancer. All right, there are 34,500 deaths from prostate cancer this year, 2022. All right, other than skin cancer, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in American men. So I just wanted to read off some of these statistics so that we're reminded of where we are in the state of things when it comes to our health in this country. It's so important for us to have these conversations, and I applaud you guys for what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate being here today.
Let's go deeper into heart disease.
Yeah.
Can you define what heart disease is? Go a little deeper with heart disease. How does one get heart disease? What foods are we eating for someone to get heart disease? And then also the same question is for prostate cancer.
Okay. It starts off with plaque in your arteries. Plaque in your arteries starts off with saturated fat, the consumption of saturated fat. Saturated fat comes from meat. It comes from dairy. It comes from, just having a poor diet. Essentially, when you have the formation of plaque in your arteries, let's say that this is an artery. Your artery is supposed to have blood flow back and forth, okay? Mm-hmm. Blood flows all over your body. If plaque that comes from saturated fat builds up in the artery starts to, let me go towards the camera, the artery starts to close up and close up and close up because it's filling with plaque from a poor diet. When an artery completely closes and it's blocked off, the blood flow is blocked off, that causes a heart attack. So that's essentially the definition of what heart disease is the when the arteries are so built up with so much plaque from poor eating that the blood cannot properly flow. So you want to be able to ensure that your arteries dilate, which means that it's open. In order for that blood to flow properly through your arteries, you need to consume a diet that is mostly plant-based. If you're consuming a diet of unhealthy fat, of steaks and pork and just an overall poor diet, donuts and dairy and things like that, these are the things that are causing the issue of heart disease. Very similar things also can cause or increase the incidence of prostate cancer. Mm-hmm. When we think about prostate cancer, one of the first things that we want to think about is vitamin D. Okay. I remember when I was doing my master's degree and we had to do a presentation, and I had to do research on the incidence of the incidence of prostate cancer and vitamin D. And the information that I came across showed that when you are low in vitamin D, it increases your risk of prostate cancer and other cancers. Why vitamin D? Because vitamin D has the ability, and this has been shown in research. This is not just something that, I'm just talking about. This is research has shown this, that vitamin D has the ability to stop cancer cell growth at its inception. Okay, because cancer starts off at a cellular level. So when you have cancer and you're stopping it at that cellular level, all right, you're stopping it from spreading, because how does cancer grow? It grows because it spreads, okay? And it's localized. When it spreads, it becomes localized in that particular region, whether it's the prostate, it's the breast, it's wherever. And once it gets to a particular point where it metastasizes, which is stage 4. So if you can catch it at the early stage at the cellular level, then you got a chance. And that's the reason why vitamin D is very important. Preferably, 1,000 IUs. 1,000 IUs is the recommended amount, but there hasn't been individuals who take as much as 3,000 IUs.
Oh, wow.
One more thing about vitamin D, because vitamin D is something that comes from the sun.
Correct.
One important thing to note for us as melanated people. All right. Melanin is important for us because it helps to block off the harmful rays of the sun. And, especially in the summertime and so on and so forth. That comes from our ancestry. That comes from our history in Africa, because obviously in Africa, it's hot. All right. So our melanin protected us, but also that barrier of that melanin, it also is, it's harder for us to absorb that vitamin D from the sun.
Gotcha.
We got to stay in the sun way longer than people who are, who have less melanin than us. So that's also a factor. And then people who are in the Northeast, because of winter and stuff like that, there's not as much sun. And stuff like that. So it's a couple of things.
So many questions. Let's talk about, my mom passed away 2010, right? Mm-hmm. She had diabetes, high blood pressure, all of those things. And then that led to dementia and she had poor eating habits.
Okay.
She loved her vitamins, though. Yeah. She bought the vitamins, but she never took them.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's what started me into kind of get into the topic of health. Yeah. She was always into like vitamins. And so, you know, that kind of led me down that path.
Okay.
Right. And then so then I started doing my research.
Okay.
Right. And I went through it. And I was like, this is what meat does to people, or, you know what I'm saying, the effects of meat. I stopped eating meat for, I want to say, about a year, right?
Okay.
So I had a healthy weight. You may remember this
yeah,
period of time.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I was probably looking like 100, I was probably like 150 pounds. I was looking crazy out here, Quest. I was looking crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I wasn't doing it right as far as trying to become a vegetarian. I was not doing it right.
Okay.
But then after a while, my body started calling for meat.
Okay.
And so I just naturally just started eating meat again, and I got back to my natural weight or whatever.
Right.
So my question is, how do you define being a vegetarian? Like what? And I would like to know that, and then a pescatarian. Like, give us those definitions.
Yeah.
And can one still be active in the gym and work out and still be a vegetarian?
Yeah. There's different definitions, and just to make it simple, all right, so a pescatarian is somebody who does not consume any meat except for fish. And that's what I would describe myself as. I describe myself as a pescatarian. Then you have a vegan. A vegan is somebody that's not going to consume any animals, nothing, okay? A vegetarian, they will consume some meat, some dairy, and they'll have some eggs, all right? So you have different types of vegetarians. The strictest one is the vegan, okay? Then you have, this is more of a newer term, a flexitarian. A flexitarian is somebody that they consume meat sometimes. They're mostly plant-based, but they will have meat on occasion. They'll have chicken, maybe once or twice a week. This is a very recent term and stuff like that, and I'm starting to see it more and more. But what you just said, it's interesting that you said that, because you had an experience where you lost 150 pounds. And you said, all right.
Well, yeah, I got
I'm sorry, you got to 150 pounds.
Right.
And you said, you know what? The meat was calling me. All right. Which is fine, because you have to determine what is best for you, for your nutritional needs. All right. And I'm sure you're going to you've done your due diligence. You're like, all right, let me see what's best for me, what works best for me. Okay.
That doesn't mean that I haven't been thinking about going back to.
Right.
But at a certain time in my life, but I'm just letting you know that that was the transition period. But yeah, continue, please.
Right. But it's important for you to not only determine what is the best thing for you at this particular stage in your life, but also get the help, get the assistance. Speak with a nutritionist, speak with a registered dietitian nutritionist, so that myself or whoever can sort of guide you through some of those steps and let you know, okay, here's how you can lay out your plan for the week. You can start off your day with oatmeal. You can have a snack of a smoothie. You could, have a lunch with some soup. You can end off the day with some salmon and some broccoli and some quinoa. There's so many ways to approach nutrition. There's so many different ways. And you want to also just make sure that you're doing the other things. You're doing the exercising. You're drinking the half a gallon of water or, per day, because those are also equally as important. You're getting to sleep. You're having that mindfulness time and stuff like that. Because all of those things help to contribute to that overall health and that approach that we need to have.
It's funny because I'm just saying to myself, definitely sleep we do not get.
We do not get.
But
that's important.
It's extremely important.
Beyonce's over there rolling her
eyes
like
I told you.
Yeah.
No, but this is serious stuff.
Yeah.
So I had experience nowhere near as tragic as Glad, but I had a bad experience with pork and I'm talking about like 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, you know what? I'm just gonna go cold turkey, stop eating pork, and I just never went back to it at all.
Okay.
So now once in a while I do eat the beef.
Okay.
But I notice as I got older, there's some situations when I do eat beef, it's not the same. Like I can't, my body doesn't.
You get constipated. Keep it real.
Okay. I get constipated. I don't process it.
Right.
Look at all of them laughing. Whatever. Yeah.
Keep it real. You trying to make it all fancy.
Yeah, I can't.
You get constipated.
I get constipated.
Yeah.
And literally, like I can't, like it bothers me.
It's harder for your body to digest it.
Exactly. So
it takes a lot of energy for your body to digest beef and just heavy meats.
Yeah. So now chicken is fine. Fish is fine, obviously.
Right.
So now, is that something that just happens because of my age, or it's
a combination of things? It's your age, but it's also when you like, let's say that you take those long periods of not consuming beef and you say, after 3 months or 6 months, you consume beef again. It's like your body has to adjust to
it goes into a shock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Digesting it and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Like, I haven't had any meat in over 25 years.
Wow.
And,
when you say
I
meat, like
I'm talking
steak,
about beef
like
and steak and chicken and things like that. Because
okay.
I started the Pescetarian journey in probably about 1997.
Oh, wow.
1997. So if I would have introduced something like that into my body, like some beef or something like that, like I don't even know how my body would respond. Yeah. If my body might, I probably might have an issue as far as like trying to digest it and stuff like that. But
you eat fish, and
I eat fish. Okay. I do eat fish. And then there's times where I'll go a week, 2 weeks, whatever, of not having fish. So for me, it's really about challenging myself. It's really about improving the diet and being an example. Because it is important, because what we talked about earlier in regards to the prostate cancer incidents, in regards to the heart disease incidents, we have to incorporate those plant-based foods.
Gotcha,
your cruciferous vegetables, your broccoli, your kale, your lettuces, cucumbers, bok chow, Swiss chard, Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, quinoa, watermelon, all of these things.
Plant-based. These are all plant-based.
Yeah, these are all vegetables, fruits. Because we find that when we're consuming those particular types of foods, those are the foods that have the most nutrients. So you're getting calcium, you're getting vitamin B, you're getting vitamin C, you're getting vitamin K, you're getting a plethora. You're not just getting one vitamin. So when you were talking about taking supplements before, and there's nothing wrong with taking supplements, but the problem becomes sometimes is that some of those supplements are just one isolated nutrient. And if you're consuming all of these nutrients, you're getting a plethora of all different types of nutrients on a regular basis, breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Gotcha.
So it's a big difference. And these are what's scientifically proven to fight those diseases. When you're consuming vitamin D, all right, that will significantly reduce your risk. And that's what we want. We want to not have these types of statistics, to be able to see those statistics and stuff, because it's really affecting us.
So here's the thing. This might be even a two-part question kind of stuff, but we have our community that we understand. Yeah, we want to be healthy. Everyone, they try, or they may try it. They may have tried it.
Right.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I tried it. It's too expensive. I got my kids to feed. I got my family to feed.
Right.
How, it's like, okay, how do I maintain, because it's expensive. It's above my, my budget, but I got to feed my kids. And on top of that, it's it's all about the marketing in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So it's convenient to
Mhm.
go to a Popeyes or any of those other things, and as opposed to going to get like a like a salad
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
that's not even in my neighborhood,
Yeah.
and I don't have a car.
Yeah.
So it's like
I did a nutrition talk called Eating Healthy on a Budget. And this was a couple of years ago, 2018.
mhm.
And in that conversation, I went into like literally looking in the flyer, the flyers that you receive at your home. All right. They tell you what's on sale. When the apples are on sale, you'll know that the apples are on sale. When the bananas are on sale, you'll know. The tomatoes, the lettuce. Yes, are the prices of food going up in 2022?
Oh,
yes,
big
they
time,
are.
big time.
But let's look at it from this perspective. Let's just shift the view for a second. Cancer and heart disease are very expensive diseases. When you go into a hospital and go for open heart surgery can cost anywhere from $300,000. Putting a stent into your heart. A stent is when they put something into your artery to open up the artery. All right, this is what we were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's about $18,000 to $20,000. We can't compare how expensive being sick is to wanting to take time to put together a budget and say, I'm going to allocate what I have. I've got my mortgage or my rent. I've got, the kids got to go to camp. I've got to buy my wife a birthday present, and then I will allocate $60 towards healthy food. Mm-hmm. You do what you can as an individual.
Right.
You can only do what you can do. Nobody knows your pockets better than you. Mm-hmm. And nobody should judge you because you didn't put that much into, your healthy budget and stuff. But there's ways to get around it. But I think that the first thing is looking at it from the perspective. The perspective is important to say, it's going to be more expensive if I have diabetes and I'm sitting in that hospital bed. And when you have that perspective, it makes you look at it differently. And you say, all right, let's break out the pen and paper or the Excel spreadsheet and let's do this budget, and we'll make it happen the way that we need to make it happen. Because the bottom line is I don't want to be in that hospital. I do not want to be in that hospital. I'm paying $50,000 a day. I don't want to be there.
Got you. What constitutes a healthy diet?
What constitutes a healthy diet is on a consistent basis first. You're taking the time out to be intentional. Because if you are letting it just happen, okay, we're intentional about going to work. We're intentional about, taking care of our responsibilities. But sometimes we're not intentional about putting together the meal plan for the day, for the week, for the month. So the first thing is be intentional. Understand what your specific goals are. If your specific goal is, like we were talking about earlier, I want to be lean so that I can, fit well into this tux. You do that. So the first thing is incorporating water, making sure that you're getting that half a gallon of water or, as much as that you possibly can get, and that you're minimizing soda and juice and sugary juices and stuff. The second thing is you want to make sure that you're getting fiber. Fiber comes from all of those foods that we just mentioned earlier, from the broccoli, the kale, the spinach, the cucumbers, lettuce, peppers, bok choy, green beans. Get fiber. Get the green leafy vegetables, because the green leafy vegetables or cruciferous vegetables, they are shown to be cancer preventative. Okay, so when you are incorporating those things on a regular basis, if you are having it not for breakfast, but more like lunch and dinner, okay, you're having for dinner let's say your salmon, your kale, and your quinoa or your brown rice. for lunch, you're having a salad, you're having soup, you're incorporating some of these green vegetables. The more that you're incorporating these green vegetables, blueberries are high in fiber. Blueberries are antioxidants. All right. Antioxidants are important. They combat free radicals. Essentially, antioxidants help your cells to operate better. All right. When you are consuming these foods on a regular basis, along with the water, and then you're doing the exercising, you might not be getting the sleep that you want to get, but you're trying to do everything else on your budget. You're doing it based on what your budget is consistent of.
How important is the exercising?
The exercising is extremely important because your health and your wellness, you want it to be well-rounded. Your incorporation of high fiber foods, of foods that are cancer fighting, foods that will help your arteries to dilate and open up so that blood flow, all of those things are important, but exercise is kind of like that icing on the cake. Your exercising is going to help lower the stress levels, because we all dealing with stress. We all dealing with some type of situations. So the exercise kind of goes hand in hand with that healthy eating, consuming lots of water. That's also important as well, because that also helps the arteries. So when you're doing all of these things, it helps you have that wellness. You're prioritizing yourself. So everything is really, it's that mindset. It's that mindset that I'm going to be intentional about my health and my wellness. I'm going to do everything that I need to do to do this in a real solid way.
I kind of want to touch base on our children.
Yeah.
So, growing up, we had dairy every morning. Yeah. I drank milk twice. I drank milk in the morning and at night. Some people say I got my height from drinking milk a lot. I don't know. My family, we're all tall. But
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. So we see the lunch menus. And I have I don't know, I might get kicked off the podcast for saying, because I just don't, as I got older and just reading more and learning more, it's by design. There's certain things that are done in the school system by design. Yeah. Hands down. Because you cannot tell me a 5-year-old is drinking milk every day, and by the time he's in his 30s, milk is no good for him, and he has prostate cancer. Yes. But we know this.
We do. Yeah, the research shows it. The United States Department of Agriculture, the USDA, they're responsible for putting out a lot of the nutritional guidelines, and the USDA, they recommend dairy. Unfortunately, what we have to understand is that as Black people, okay, whether you are Haitian, Jamaican, African American, all right, people of African descent, 70% of us are lactose intolerant. Okay, that means that we cannot process, we can't digest milk. Okay, and I don't understand, why would the USDA recommend that to the population that we have to have dairy?
It's called a $.
All right. So to me, if you understand that there's the about 50 million Americans are lactose intolerant. That's a serious amount. So the idea that they would do something like that is mind-boggling.
It's crazy.
But also there's research that has shown that the consumption of milk, because of the protein called casein, that can increase the incidence of prostate cancer and different cancers. This is something that research is showing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the fact that you said, and I completely am on board with you, we were told this at a young age, we were watching those commercials with all of these different celebrities, and they were like, milk does a body good. Milk, not if you're lactose intolerant.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
I mean, I have cousins, and you've been to my family gatherings where we've had all these different foods and stuff like that. The macaroni, the macaroni plate and stuff like that. I got cousins that they're like, yo, if I touch any of this dairy, I'm be running to the bathroom.
Right.
It's that real.
Right,
So so the dairy thing is something that, we got to be mindful of, and we have to make sure that we're doing our research. And if a person decides, hey, you want to have the ice cream, you want to have the milk, then fine, it's up to you. But there's information that's out there that says that it increases the risk. So just two things that we could pull out from this conversation in terms of lowering cancer risk is that be mindful of vitamin D. Okay. We want to incorporate our vitamin D on a regular basis, and be mindful of your consumption of milk. Are you lactose intolerant? Are you, every time you drink milk, are you gassy? Are you, running to the bathroom? Do you have diarrhea? Be mindful of that, because there is saturated fat in milk.
How much vitamin D one should be consuming? How many?
The recommended
IUs?
The recommended amount is 1,000 IUs, or international units. But there is also some research that says you can go up to 3,000 IUs.
Up to 3,000.
So so you can
or just
talk
to Florida.
Or move to Florida.
Before you get out of here, real quick, mental health, eating and mental health, how do those two correlate? And do you see a lot of that eating poorly connected to mental health issues? Yeah,
mental health, there's certainly a lot of factors affecting mental health, whether we're talking about anxiety, we're talking about depression, a healthy diet, an unhealthy diet, whether it's fast food, donuts, soda, sugary foods, they have been shown. Research shows that it does affect mood, because there's certain foods that bring you high and then you shoot back down low because of the sugar content and stuff. So there is an effect on your mood. So the mental health conversation is something that it is a complex conversation, but just in short, it does affect how your mood is. Certain foods, certain unhealthy foods. So that's an even more important reason why we have to be mindful of the foods that we eat.
Got you. I know it's Men's Health Month. I want to talk about the ladies real quick.
Yeah.
I see this online. It's like almost like an epidemic. Fibroids with ladies. Can you talk about that? What causes that?
Well,
and how do you? What would you suggest to prevent that?
Yeah.
In women?
A lot of the OBGYNs and stuff like that, when you talk to them, they don't have necessarily a clear answer as to why women are getting fibroid tumors. What we do know is that it is very prevalent in African American women. It's almost 70% of African American women, or women of African descent, are being affected in some kind of capacity with the fibroid tumors. One thing that is that does come up consistently is weight. So I think that would be the first thing. One of the first things that for women to really be mindful of is controlling weight, because for some reason the weight is something that is that is a big thing. So being mindful of weight, and when we think about weight, we're going to automatically go to those healthy foods.
The diet.
Your diet, your water intake, your exercise. So as a preventative, just being mindful of what type of diet are you consuming? Are you consuming a lot of saturated fats? Are you consuming soda? Are you not drinking a lot of water? So just being mindful of getting the types of right foods in the body that will help to sustain a healthy type of lifestyle, because these are things that is very, very prevalent with African American women.
Oh,
A quick question: do you recommend like drinking? Some people do not like water; they just cannot stand the taste of water.
Yeah.
So, do you recommend like seltzer water? Any of those like these flavored waters that are out here?
I
Now?
do not. No.
Okay.
I say
it's a wrap.
you gotta just deal with the water.
Deal with the
I don't
water.
like I don't like flavored water. You will essentially want to get half of your body weight in ounces. So, for example, if you're 150 pounds, you want to get 75 ounces of water. 75 ounces of water. If we're talking about like a 16 ounce bottle, that's about five 16-ounce bottles. If I'm doing my math right.
A day.
A day, yeah.
Bro,
75
I used to drink
ounces.
a gallon of water.
Yeah,
and there were times when I couldn't even make it to the.
Probably
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not
drink more
easy.
water.
It's not easy,
Yeah.
especially for individuals who are, let's say, you work in a construction site. You're working on your feet all day. You know what I mean? You're a contractor. It's important for you to be on the job. It's different for individuals who work in the office and the bathroom is like 2 seconds from their desk and stuff. So it's important to make sure that you're mindful. Like, okay, my job allows me that I could probably do that. Some people's job doesn't allow them that
like
they could
the
do
drivers,
that.
man. Like the drivers,
That's
can't,
another
they
thing.
can't.
They can't.
They're sitting.
They gotta
they're
keep
eating,
moving.
If you're doing Uber and Lyft, that's
tough.
gonna be
tough.
tough.
It's tough.
So maybe on that person's day off, they make up for it. But it is important to get that half of your body weight in ounces.
Are there any last notes or topics or things you want to talk about before you get out of here?
I mean, I think that we covered a lot, and I think that on an ending note, how we have to end this is that you as an individual, you are ultimately responsible for your health. Your doctor isn't responsible, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, it's you as the individual. You have to set the intention. And when you setting the intention is the only way things get done, because there's a lot of things in life that just happen to you. You don't want your health to just happen to you. You want to be absolutely intentional. Here's how much water I'm going to drink today. Here is how much fruit I'm going to have today. For my afternoon snack, I'm going to have tangerines and grapes. For dinner, I'm going to have that quinoa. I'm going to have that kale. I'm going to have that piece of salmon or, whatever it might be. And if you become more intentional about your health, I'm going to set aside 20 minutes in the morning for meditation. I'm going to go for that run. If you set aside that intention by putting the plan together the night before, then chances are you'll hit all of your markers. And that's what it's about. Be intentional about your health. It's all about it ultimately boils down to you.
Don't think it's time. You have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. Surprise question. The basket is gonna give you a question. We're not asking it.
It's heavy.
Okay.
Go for it.
All right. Let's see what the
It may not be
is.
relating to your topic to what we talked about today, so I don't know.
All right. What's your favorite childhood memory? Wow. My favorite childhood memory. I think that my favorite childhood memory is just spending time with my family. I got a big family, as you know. You've been around my family a lot, and just getting together with everybody, whether it was the holidays, it was Thanksgiving or something like that, and just having those very special moments where everybody, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, everybody's just having fun, cracking jokes. The compa music is pumping. You know what I'm saying? the uncles and the aunties are on the dance floor, dad is on the dance floor. Everybody's kind of just in that moment, and it's important to just create memories with your family. You know what I mean? Because we don't know what the future holds. We don't know who's going to be around and who might not be around. So yeah, just those moments. Those are very, very precious moments.
Dope.
Oh, beautiful.
I just want to also add disclaimer. Rob and I are not doctors or everything.
No.
Was our opinion, right, Rob?
Yeah, it was just
so
our
you
opinion.
two be nice to us.
Yeah.
Be nice to us.
Yeah.
It's just our opinion, and we're just doing our part.
Absolutely.
We're just giving the knowledge and just sharing our opinion.
Absolutely.
YouTube takes us down.
Absolutely. Yes. I'm a nutritionist. I am not a doctor. I am here expressing my views and my opinions based off of my experiences and things that I've seen. So that is a medical disclaimer in terms of anything that I talk about, whether it comes to vitamin D and things like that. You want to talk with your doctor and make sure that you could have that conversation and say, what's the amount of vitamin D do you think I should have, or what, and so on and so forth. So
where can people find you to get more information if they want to work with you?
My email address is johnmichel, JOHNMICHEL 977 @gmail.com. My IG is Jabari Quest. My Facebook is facebook.com JABARIQUEST. And Facebook.com /JABARIQUEST. And just reach out. Reach out if you have any questions, you want some help, in terms of wanting to figure out how you can become a vegetarian, or if you want to change your diet and stuff like that, I can help you out.
Awesome. You got to come back on. There's so many topics to talk about.
For sure.
Absolutely.
We'll definitely make it happen.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Definitely appreciate this.
I appreciate
you back on
guys.
soon.
I appreciate you guys inviting me. And like I said before, you guys are doing great things.
Thank you.
Information is what changes people.
True.
Okay. Yeah. If the person does not have the information, then there's no need for them to change. But if they have the information, then it's up to them. Like, now I know I can do what I need to do. So,
no doubt.
Salute you.
You heard it right from our bro, Mr. Quest himself. Rob, housekeeping items.
Team Sock Passe Podcast down below. Remember, Team Sock Passe Podcast. Subscribe, share, comment below. You're going to see all of Jabari's information below down here. YouTube, all of the Apple, Spotify, all of that. Team Sock Passe Podcast.
On
subscribe,
YouTube, right?
Share.
Comment below. if you want any of our merch, check us out at teamsockpasse.com.
Teamsockpasse.com. Team Sock Passe on IG.
No doubt.
And we are out of here.
Team Sock Passe. We out. Peace.
Peace.